invit la cuvânt pe domnul președinte Markku MARKKULA. Și pentru a exploata timpul, voi derula mesajul domniei sale în limba română.
Prime Minister, Vice Prime Minister, Ministers, Ambassadors, dear President Draghi, members of the Association of Communes of Romania. Firstly, may I warmly thank you for inviting me to speak here today, and let me start by briefly explaining how the European Committee of the Regions represents also your views, your knowledge and your experiences within the EU decision making. We were created more than 20 years ago with the Maastricht Treaty as an EU institutional body. We are the political assembly of local and regional representatives with 700 members and alternates from all the 28 member states. Our members, regional presidents, mayors, councillors must be democratically elected and in addition hold a political mandate in their home country. Your voice is well heard in our committee as the Romanian delegation led by Mr. Nica stands very strong with the 50 members, and it's the seventh largest delegation. In fact, your President, Mr. Draghi, is also an active member of our institution. Why is it important that we have a voice in Europe? Why really the local and regional authorities need to be heard there all the time? Simply because 70% of EU legislation impacts our regions and cities. We, locally and democratically elected leaders, need to shape not only EU legislation but also decide where Europe goes next. We give Europe its legitimacy. I will tackle a few of the issues, very many that already came in the speech of your Prime Minister. As political leaders of regional and local authorities, we have shared objectives to create growth and jobs, to efficiently use resources to deliver the best services we possibly can, whether in my village in Lapland, in northern Finland, or in Bucharest. We have a shared mission to deliver a decent and sustainable life for our communities. This is the main reason for my visit to Romania, to listen to your challenges that you are facing in your communes, cities and counties, and to share our ideas on how we can improve the European Union, what actions to be taken. It's maybe better to say a few words about the rural areas, because my own history as well. I was born in a village, or practically a group of 20 small villages, all together 4,000 people in the Arctic Circle in Finland, Lapland, north of the Arctic Circle. I'm sure you have all heard of Santa Claus. So that's where the Santa lives, and to me, Santa came from the south. So these dimensions are a bit relative always, so living that far in the north. And I'm very attached to this place and deeply understand the character and the importance of rural communities. In northern Finland, the climate is hard and temperatures can drop to minus 40 degrees, as we have had during the Christmas period this year, affecting our farming definitely and all living there as well. We sometimes struggle to access electricity, hot water, schools, for our children and internet. As I understand, Romania consists half of rural areas and look to local solutions to provide quality public services and decent infrastructure. In my view, infrastructure does not mean only roads and waste management, but also new technologies. The digitalization of our public administration is key for the economic development of our territories and well-being of every person. I encourage you all to use digital means in your daily work, and I'm sure President Rakisi will not disagree, since he is a passionate user of modern devices as well. We are facing many current EU challenges, so Europe seems to be constantly hit by wave after wave of difficult challenges: regional inequity, youth unemployment, the refugee crisis, the UK situation. This is causing disillusionment in the EU, but we need common solutions to common problems. It's not Brussels business, it's all our business. And we are determined to turn our challenges into opportunities for positive developments. The President of the European Council, Donald Tusk, recently, less than 2 weeks ago, spoke to our committee's members in our plenary in Brussels, and his message was very clear. Local and regional authorities have a pivotal role in overcoming Europe's challenges. 2 days ago, at the European Council, he quoted Winston Churchill. The quotation is, "If Europe is to be saved from infinite misery, and indeed from final doom, there must be this act of faith in the European family." The same approach is shared by Commission President Mr. Juncker, and it is something that we should make us reflect upon, but also something which should strengthen all of us. But it's not only the EU leaders that are ready to work with us. Over the last months, I have met with many prime ministers from Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Slovakia, and today, during my short trip to Bucharest, I have had the honor already to talk with your Prime Minister, who, as the previous EU Agricultural Commissioner, is highly regarded among our members. I will also meet today Mr. Dinku, your Deputy Prime Minister, Mrs. Raduku, your Minister of Structural Funds, and Mr. Gurai, the Minister for Education, Research and Innovation, with whom I will visit an excellent project financed via structural funds. With all your ministers, one of our topics is to find joint interest where we and where I can, as well in my committee, bring some strong European added value. The opinions of local and regional governments matter more today than ever before. As European Committee of the Regions, we want a strong territorial dimension of EU legislation, a simple and a more connected Europe, better spending. The question is definitely always how. Let me start with the better regulation. In practice, it means that EU law needs to be simplified and improved to meet real needs of our communities. Making rules simpler will also mean making EU structural funds more effective at local and regional level. Simplification also means a simpler use of the EU budget. As you know, from 2014 to 2020, Romania will benefit from 30.8 billion of structural funds, about 1,500 euro for every citizen. For the last 7-year period, I was told that the absorption rate in Romania could finally reach between 75 to 80%, but there are also challenges to increase the absorption of funds, improve the administrative capacity, better prepare the large infrastructure project, and in particular public procurement process. avoid too often changes in legislation. It's also worth mentioning the need for a higher political responsibility, which must include the continual fight against any form of corruption. Let me explain what is being done by the committee to tackle some of these issues. Firstly, we offer regional and local authorities the chance to discuss challenges and obstacles in implementing EU funds. This includes solutions to decrease errors relating to public procurement. Most errors are due to fraud, but not due to the fraud, but to the complexity of the procurement. Finally, since regional and local public authorities represent a large part of the EU public administrations, our committee is working tirelessly to speed up investments, public money saving, and reduce errors and fight fraud. Let me take a few examples. First, managing human and financial resources is simply too complicated. Recently, the European Court of Auditors stated that the administrative burden in the EU cohesion expenditure is a major cause of errors in public procurement. And for that, we need really to learn new competencies, increase our capacity. Also, far too often, projects backed by structural funds are checked several times by audit authorities at different levels. I know you at the regions, you know those experiences, because I know those as well from my experience as one of the local leaders in my own country. This creates many burdens without improving quality. Auditing authorities must share and rely on the findings of another audit authority. Simplification is vital to deliver the EU's cohesion policy. As Committee of the Regions, we are currently organizing a series of activities now with the Dutch EU presidency and with the experts from the governments and regional local authorities of all 28 EU member states on issues like audit, public procurement and state aid. We call for an improvement of the capacity building of our administrators and adjust public procurement rules and increase the innovative digital solutions. For over 10 years, our committee has demanded simplification, which is why we welcome the initiative of EU Commissioner Corinna Crețu for a high-level group on simplification. Finally, on the demand of the Slovak government, we are producing our formal position. We call this the COR opinion, the Committee of the Region opinion on simplification of structural and investment funds, which will be adopted in October this year. And on 8 to 9 July in Bratislava, the coming summer, we will hold a summit of regions and cities to debate on how to improve private and public investments, which you are all warmly invited as well to come to join this summit. One word of the smart specialization strategy's role when deciding on the investments. Let me take the example of your 300 million euros project, Extreme Light Infrastructure. I will have a chance to talk more with the experts on that when visiting there this afternoon. This has the potential to develop the entire region and practically the entire Europe, and my challenge is as well to deliver the knowledge of this investment to the other parts of Europe so that people, researchers everywhere can get much out of that. There is one condition: everyone involved, country, county presidents, village mayors and cities, also universities and the business sector must work together to develop their own smart specialization strategies, the focus areas, and build more European partnerships based on those. They need to build an innovative system where all the elements work in tandem, boosting the development of the region. This can be done not only in large cities, since smart specialization can positively impact rural policy. We live in an era of speed where broadband networks, new technologies and digitalization can rapidly improve development. In the Committee of the Regions, we believe that devolution has a key contribution to reducing social and economic disparities between Europe's regions. This can slow the exodus of people from poor regions to big cities. Good local and regional governance brings EU policy closer to the people, promotes transparency and drives democracy. But this can only be successful if it's done through democratically elected and fully representative bodies that are accountable to their people. I know in Romania you held discussions on decentralization and regionalization. A couple of years ago we welcomed one of your ministers in the committee who presented the plans. I encourage you to continue this debate on regionalization across all political parties as a development project for your country. This generates not only a better territorial vision for the development of your cities and regions, but a better coordination and partnership between different levels of governments. Devolved governance has many advantages: understanding people's needs, the co-development of policies to foster sustainable and competitive growth, and improved sound economic management and local and regional investment, and greater autonomy and local and regional democracy. Dear friends, let me conclude. Last year, Romania had the second biggest GDP growth in the EU, and I'm sure you will agree, supported by the EU funds as well. They play a crucial role. It's our cities and regions that are driving this growth. It's the cities all around in Europe and the regions, rural areas around the cities. But all our communities are taking an entrepreneurial approach to investment. Many local and regional governments need to cope with lower budgets, with more tasks and competencies. Today, they have to do more with less. We therefore need more synergies between public and private financing. We need transparency and simpler rules. But as elected politicians, we have the responsibility to take the right decisions on where and how we make our investments. And this can only be done when working in partnership with all governments, with the private sector, with the universities, and with all the resources we have. We need to deliver the results, better impact. We must progress and look forward to bring about the change. We need to be more efficient, save time and cut costs. We need to deliver the results our citizens should expect. And that's our joint commitment, and that's the future that we are working on. Thank you very much.